Okay. Jyotika, you're not nervous, right? It's okay. All right. You guys have to have this habit of coming up, speaking, making sure other people understand what you're saying. You be able to think on the spot and be able to answer questions, right? What happens in the interview, right? I'm just giving you the interview practice. I'm actually worse interviewer than that. That was very nice of me. Okay, where were we? Since you guys love to read books, you can read a lot of things on your own. I don't need to really keep on going with this thing again and again. Okay. Sliding, ejection, you got the ejection, H2A2 dimer replacement, you got that. We'll come to that. I'm not going to belabor upon any of these because you guys can read slides. You're very good at reading and looking and memorizing. Sometimes not so good at understanding and visualizing. I am actually promoting you guys to think, visualize in your head. Once you visualize things in your head, you'll much better understand it. And it's actually a lot more satisfying to your intellectual curiosity. Once you visualize things, you feel, wow. Once you remember things, you're like, oh my God, I have to memorize this again, right? Don't we? Okay. All right, what does the ATP-dependent chromatin bonding complex do? It moves nucleosome. It can move them together like this on the left side, or it can space them equally as on the right side, okay? That's the key. Some remodelers will make very nice, beautifully positioned, equally positioned nucleosomes, like ISY and NOAT, okay? Some will compact the chromatin, like ISY actually. So some will compact them, some will make them very nicely interspersed, and that depends on what they are professionally made to do by dear God. Okay, their activities are either to repress, so they're going to put all the nucleosomes together, or to activate. All right, all to make nice beautiful arrays of nucleosome, because we want to have beautiful beads in a string so somebody can wear it, right? Okay, they do a lot of histone eviction. So basically they can take this on the top has 5 nucleosomes, on the bottom has 3, right? So they made this open for the DNA binding factor to come and bind. They can then replace it with a variant histone nucleosome, okay? And now you say, okay, I have marked this position for a specific purpose. That purpose could be anything I want. That purpose could be activating gene transcription, because I have to tell you that. It could be marking for saying memory. Okay, I want to remember. Remember, one of you guys were asking a question, how does somebody know that I've RNA polymerase has gone through this? This is how that does happens. Okay, so H3.3 is a lot of times is put in the gene body as a marking for RNA polymerase. That I have gone through this. I have histone 3.3. I don't have histone 3. Okay, I'll come to that in a second. I'm saying, what is 3.3? You're like, what is 3.3? Right? Okay, bottom line, remodelers will remodel through sliding and making open, and DBP will bind. DBP is DNA binding protein, guess, right? Or change with the histone mark. So there is a site exposure or there is altered composition, right? That's a summary of whatever. So since I was talking about histone variants, I must cover histone variants, right? We discussed this a little bit earlier. We talked about histone H1. Let's talk about 2 other ones, H2AZ and H3.3, because they are there in the euchromatin. They associate with gene transcription, and we are studying transcription forever, right? On the other hand, on the heterochromatin side, there are other kinds of variants, NPA, macro H2A, H3.1, 3.2, okay? We'll not talk too much about them, but they also have very important roles in ensuring heterochromatin or gene repression. On the right side, histone variants are important for gene activation. Left side, the histone variants are important for repression. Have you heard of telomeres? What are telomeres? Huh? End of the chromosome is telomeres. Everybody knows that. Good job. Have you ever imagined a telomere? It's like a cap. What does telomeres contain? Telomeres have great value, right? What? Repetitive sequence, that's right. What happens to repetitive sequence as we age? Decreases. That's how. That's clock. That's our clock, right? Clock through enzymes called TERTs. TERT. T-E-R-T. TERT. Okay? TERT knockout mice actually age very fast because TERT mice, TERT enzyme is important for that repeat extension. As we age, those repeats get decreased, the TERT activity gets decreased, we age, right? And wouldn't you want to live 200 years, right? What would you want to do? Huh? You would just want to have more repeats, right? Be cool. Business idea, my friend. Right? This is a multi-billion trillion dollar industry, aging. As I said to you guys earlier, that's where Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos want to spend all their money. How can I live for 5 more years? How can I live for 10 more years? How can I live for 2 more months? Right? If you increase everybody's lifespan by 2 months, that's great. You're going to make a lot of money. Do you guys know, by the way, in FDA approves drugs? How does FDA approve drugs for cancer? I talk about cancer. Huh? Support the drink. Remember yesterday I showed you some survival curves called Kaplan-Meier curves? I showed you beautifully separated ones that nothing happened and then lots of things happened. That tell you, if you look at the averages of those, you'll say, okay, my mice that had tumorigenic cells injected had X number of days they lived and an average. Okay? And in humans, you do the same. So let's say I treat colorectal cancer patients, okay, with chemotherapy. They live on an average for 6 more months. All right? I take chemotherapy and I'll combine it with a new drug that I've discovered. I'm a pharma company. Which pharma company you know? Ranbaxy, Sun Pharma. Huh? Okay. If I extend that survival from 6 months to 7 months, I get an approval. And now I made $1 billion drug by making people survive 1 more month. Okay? And I'm not kidding. This is true. Colorectal cancer patients, on an average, live maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year actually. So I work with a lot of these people because I work on colorectal cancer a little bit. And the guy who's claim to fame is, he increased the survival from 1 year to 1 year, 2 months. Sounds funny? This is true. This is cancer research. Okay? This happens all the time. How did Apple's founder die? Steve Jobs. A rare form of pancreatic cancer called pancreatic neuroendocrine tumors. The survival for that is less than 6 months. Okay? Anything that improves survival by 1 more month in that disease is a multi-billion dollar drug. And this is not a joke. This is real stuff. Okay? I want you guys to understand how much more we need to do, okay, for cancer patients to survive 2 years. The guy who got Nobel Prize in my university, Jim Ellison, and I will send you a movie about that, because actually you should look. There's a movie made on his name. MD Anderson spends billions and trillions of dollars this. He's made a drug which is $1 trillion drug, right? Really, not kidding. Okay? His drug helps people survive. They used to die within 1 year. Some of them, subset of them, will live for 10 years. So he got a Nobel Prize. See that? Cool, right? That's called immunotherapy. Immunotherapy, okay? Beautiful. People get cured out of it. Not all of them. Maybe 10, 15, 20%. But that's huge compared to 1 month advance in life, right? 10 years. But on an average, people survive 2 more years. But you know how much that drug costs in India? 1 dose of it costs 12 lakh rupees after subsidy. Without subsidy, it costs 35 lakh rupees. Okay? Because the pharma company has a patent, right? The patent for 19 years. Nobody can replicate the drug. So the company is making trillions of dollars. Cool? The guy did a great job. He has a Nobel Prize and it's 35 lakh rupees to Indian patients. What is it going to be to African patients? What is it going to be to people in Bangladesh, developing countries, poor countries? Their lives don't matter, right? So, huh? After 20 years. Till 19 years, we'll let people die in the poor countries. Doesn't matter, right? That's the economics of it, guys. That's the economics of it. I want you guys to appreciate where is the opportunity. Okay? It's not about making a new software. It's not about AI. It's about helping people with making drugs that can survive more than 1 month, 6 months, right? Drugs similar to what that guy has made, and you have an opportunity to make it. So become scientists and do it, right? Good job. Good question. You close 3 or 4 doses or over. You do it over the year. Costs a lot of money. Sad. It is true. True, but sad. He's glorified. He's like, oh my God, I've done amazing stuff. I'm saving lives of people in Europe and America, and maybe 10-15% of people in India, cancer patients in India, or somewhere else, right? That's why your heroes and heroines, when we get cancer, go to US. They don't get treated in here, okay? The Dubai, I'm sorry, I keep on telling you stories because this is important for you guys to know more than chromatin remodeling, okay? Because the Dubai sheikh, one of the Dubai sheikhs, one of the kings and all, got some kind of cancer. He came to MD Anderson. He got treated. He was like, brilliant. Gave us $500 billion. How much? 5 billion. They made a whole building on his name, and his building's name is Sheikh Zayed Building in MD Anderson. First class, awesome, better than a 5-star hotel you would have seen. Okay? That's what happens. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go for this. So histone variants. We're talking about histone variants. So I have to kill this class in 5 minutes. Okay, let's see. So we got H3H4, H3H4 dimer, then tetramer that talks to H2H2B, makes a nucleosome. We know this, right? We've heard enough of this. If when you have a variant like H2AZ, okay, well, we were talking about this. All right, let me just come to this. So when you have a variant like H2H2Z, you see the shift in structure. I'm showing you a crystal structure. There is very minor shift between H2AZ and H2A, but it changes the way not two things interact, two copies of H2A interact. That destabilizes the nucleosome. That makes it less stable on the DNA. So where would you want to use it? You use a nucleosome with H2AZ at transcription start site, because you want that to be open. You want it to be easy access. You want it to be easy for transcription factor. That's the key. H2AZ is found at +1 or -1. In yeast, I think it's +1, just at where transcription start site is. Okay, that's what matters here. Cool. So in the promoter region and in the coding region, so in the promoter region, there is an exchange of H2A to H2AZ, and then H3 to 3.3. Okay, that's what keeps the transcription going. There are different kinds of chromatin remodelers that are used on risk associates with SWR that does that. There is histone acetylation. They depend on histone acetylation. They'll read histone acetylation. Remember, they have bromodomains, right? They'll read that, replace H2AZ. There are different histone chaperones. I'll come to chaperones in a second, that are used, and that allows the part 2 basic transcription factor machine to access. Good, cool. 3.3 goes there as well. And then 3.3 stays all through the gene body. You see the coding region, but H2AZ gets replaced back with H2H2B, and H3.3 remains. I told you H3.3 is a memory for transcription. Cool? That's the beauty of histone variants and transcription. Something for you to remember. So other chromatin remodeling complex, innovative complex that we talked about, actually then will come here, help with the 3.3, and then remove H2AZ from here. Actually, it recruits the stone chaperone that will remove that, and will only keep the 3.3. So there is specific functions for all of these, and specific histone chaperones that will be used are EFACT and HERA and all that. You don't need to remember the names of them. All you need to care about is there are 3.3 specific histone chaperones, there are H2A specific chaperones that will bring in, make the nucleosome, you know, like a different nucleosome, different colored nucleosome, if you will, right? Okay. That's just shown here a little bit more sense to you. So this is it. So we talked about risk chromatin remodeling. We saw the activity on a gel, right? So that binds to -1. You see the -1 nucleosome. That's TSS is plus TSS is so 0. This is a -1 nucleosome. That is a +1 nucleosome. The TSS itself has to be nucleosome free. So there is no 0, right? So -1 risk will bind, and it will create an asymmetric nucleosome. On the bottom is your thing, which with the 3.3 and H2A point Z. So when that nucleosome has H2A point Z or 3.3, that's a, as I said earlier, that's not a very stable nucleosome, right? It will put that on +1 position, and then the pre-initiation complex will come, recruit, and eventually this thing will be removed. The H2AZ nucleosome will be removed from the gene body. Only 3.3 will remain. Okay, cool? Got that? Okay. There are various kinds of histone variants. You can see, read them. They're all utilized in different kind of context. I talked about nucleosome free region. We can actually cover this later if you guys want in the next class. Maybe should do that rather than rushing through it. Okay, why don't you guys go for lunch? We'll talk about it afterwards. There is a few slides from here on. And I want you guys to appreciate this important cancer because I keep telling you about the stories. Okay. And then we'll do the ATAC-seq a little bit and methylation, and I think we'll be done. We may not be done with the whole thing, but that's fine. Okay. All right, I'll see you guys at 2:30 or so, 2:40, between that time, right? I don't know the exact time I'll take, so I'm just putting it out there, but please come.
DNA viruses.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we could like sequence them and find out what chromatin interactions they do, so could we change their expression?